Bob, you're over here, Bob. Yeah, no, Bob, I stand up, Bob. I don't get to sit down. Okay, very good. We're also waiting for Mr. Robert Raincock. Yes, excellent. What a treat to have such experts on this area of what we're cruising with us today, all in one place, only for one time only. So very good. Go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and your role on this ship down the line.
Well, thank you, Fernando, and ladies and gentlemen, and for a few of you, shipmates. With me you get a choice of historical geography or geographical history. I was first in the Antarctic some time ago, a few years, 1977, and I've worked with the British Antarctic Survey and the Scott Polar Research Institute on mine-related subjects, including much of the work of the Antarctic Heritage Trust, preserving and maintaining the amazing historic huts in that region. Now, I can go on for quite a long period, but brevity is the essence of wit. That might cover it, and there's lectures coming. A couple of points, however. I have some of the British Antarctic Survey maps here, and after lectures there's often questions. The theatre isn't always the best place for them, but we have a particular adaptation, and is arranged. Just downstairs we have what we can call the seminar room, where we can meet for questions and answers out of the theatre. Thank you.
Beautiful, absolutely. If you don't follow the rules, you get a formal warning. After the formal warning, we'll ship you back home. Good. Next.
Thank you. I'm Caroline. I'm also from England, from Essex. Anybody from England here? Hey, anybody from Essex? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we are a long way from Essex. I got into Antarctica through the academic route. So I'm an environmental scientist by training. My second degree I did at the University of Cambridge in Antarctic and Arctic studies. So that's how I've become interested in Antarctica. I worked British Antarctic Survey ship doing some ice work and kind of worked in the area of Antarctica pretty much all my life in one way or another, and also with Antarctic tourism. So I was on the very first Princess cruise to Antarctica back in 2002 on the old Royal Princess, and we put together kind of an education program for the big ships that were coming down to Antarctica. So I've been involved in it a long time, absolutely love the place, and I just really look forward to sharing our knowledge with you guys and seeing, you know, your experience come alive as we get down there. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. It's my first time there, and we're lucky to have all of you. And up next, is this the first time you've been on a ship as a naturalist? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Kevin.
Yes, so my name is Kevin. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and this is actually my 16th cruise to Antarctica. And thank you. And I've done over 40 times this cruise without Antarctica, so I've been to all these ports over 40 times, and not that I'm, it's not that I'm like, 40 times, like I've actually counted them. It's about 40 times. And obviously, before coming to Antarctica for the first time, I had didn't have much connection with Antarctica, but of course, after so many voyages, you learn a lot, especially hearing people that I have to my side and many other scientists throughout the years. And that's how I learned a lot about Antarctica, just going there many times and listening to many talks. And I'm very excited that most of you will be your first time, and it's honestly, for me at least, it's life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Alan, you're up.
Okay, thanks, Fernando. Hi, my name's Alan Conlin. I am from, also from the UK, lots of UK people, from Liverpool precisely. And I am a biologist, specifically working in the area of offshore renewables. So I spent my life bobbing up and down on small boats. Ferry Across the Mersey was the first one, quite a famous song. And then I graduated to fishing trawlers that had a very nice aroma about them, smelt of fish. Then I graduated to research vessels, and now I'm on the Princess Sapphire, which I can tell you is neither a ferry and nor does it smell of fish, thankfully. So, it is very good to be down here. I came to Antarctica first time around about 17 years ago. I'm very privileged and very lucky to be here for the last 4 years, part of this team actually, and there's lots of exciting stuff ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robert Raincock.
Hi, my name is Late. Sorry. I was getting numbers for the Aurora Australis. So my name is Rob. I am one of your ship's naturalists, and my specialty is glaciers and water flow through rock. I also have a background as a high school science teacher. I taught biology and physics. I joined the team in 2022, so I guess relatively speaking, I am the rookie, and I'm very enthusiastic. I bought the Antarctica t-shirt. So there you go, look at that. There's my authority right there. I'm just so excited to be here, and I'm excited to share how much I care about this place, and I want to do anything I can in whatever way you need me to get you excited and prepared for this unbelievable journey you're about to go on. It's going to be great.
Beautiful interview. All of you. Thank you so much. So many years of experience. I'm a baby when it comes to cruising. 2 years with Princess. So you said exciting. What is exciting about Antarctica? What excites you the most without going over 30 seconds? Go.
You know what? Waking up at 2 in the morning, having the sun out, seeing different species of albatross at the same time, seeing icebergs bigger than the ship, and at the same exact moment realizing that that little knob of black rock is where Shackleton was abandoned. That's cool.
Now, how will we get to find out about that?
You don't. I'll tell them though.
Okay, good. As long as you're informed.
Come to the shows.
As long as they're informed. Okay, come to the shows. Very good. Excellent.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Yeah, for me, actually, it always is. I'm actually an ornithologist, specialising in birds, and for me, the most exciting thing is always the birds. Some of these birds, the albatross, the wandering albatross, is the largest bird on the planet, and some of these physiological adaptations that allow some of these birds to survive in the most inhospitable environment on the planet really is quite extraordinary. It's super exciting.
The hospitality industry meets the unhospitable environments of Antarctica. Very interesting. Anybody out there bird fan, like bird fanatics as well? Yes? Good. Excellent, good. You'll definitely enjoy Alan's talks. And Mr. Kevin, what excites you most about Antarctica in relation to your talks?
What excites me the most is that you're going to a place that's like no other place in the world. You have to think that Antarctica is about twice the size of Australia, and it's almost untouched. And there's no other place in the world where you can see animals in the wild state that they are in Antarctica, where you can see so much land that hasn't been touched, where you can see, in a way it's kind of contradictory, because when you think about it, if somebody asks you, what do you see in Antarctica? You just say, well, you see water, ice, mountains, and animals. And perhaps at first glance you might think, oh, that's it, that's kind of boring. But then when you see it, you're like, wow, I mean, I can't believe this is real, and I can't believe I'm seeing this with my own eyes. So it's incredible. So for me, it's just exciting to be in a place where nothing like it is even similar.
Beautiful. Nice. Very exciting.
Yeah, I think pretty much what you said. I think that's kind of sums it up. It's also the whole thing. I think it's not like any other cruise that you've ever been on, and it properly is an expedition and it's an adventure. And even from now, if you walk around the deck, you might think there's nothing there, and then you'll see an albatross. I saw a black-browed albatross this morning, and you know you're getting closer, and you feel the weather starting to get a little bit colder. And so it's the whole thing. You know, don't wait for like 1 or 2 days in Antarctica. You need to enjoy the whole of the cruise, and it's getting close. When we get to Punta Arenas, you'll see where Shackleton came back to. There's lots of Antarctic history all around Punta Arenas. Ushuaia, you see all the cruise ships, the science ships, everybody heading off down to Antarctica. So it's kind of the whole thing. And then the thing that I love, absolutely love, is I don't know what day it will be on because it depends on the ice and the weather, but there's one morning when we arrive right off the actual continent. So we've been to the South Shetland Islands, we've seen some of the islands. Wake up in the morning, early morning if you can, and there's the continent, and you're actually there. You're at the Antarctic continent, and it doesn't matter what the weather's like. You know, the light changes. Sometimes it can be quite hostile and grey and mysterious. Other times it's blue sky and incredibly beautiful, and it changes throughout the day. So just the whole thing, incredible experience to be doing it. So yeah, we're privileged, we're lucky to be here. And it's Christmas, keep forgetting as well. Sorry, just thought I'd throw that in.
And how about the F word, huh? Fog. Huh? Yeah. Well, you ask any sailor, they don't like the F word on a ship, and it's the fog, F-O-G.
That makes it mysterious, doesn't it? Or the mank, they call it, don't they?
And once you step out, and I've heard you sometimes can't see past this past you know
That's for when I have a special phrase. If you can't see a thing, you merely tell the passengers, scenes we have missed and mists we have seen.
Beautiful phrase.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming at the end of the queue, a lot of what I would have said has been said. But bear in mind, of the 7 continents, Antarctica is larger than Australasia, larger than Europe. In winter, it has a population of about 1,400, only, the size of a small village in a continent. So no wonder there's so much exceptional about it. The very small proportion of humanity that's ever seen it will be substantially increasing the number, very small though it might be, actually seeing this continent in practice rather than just theory. Well, in this room you'll get plenty of theory, but on the outer decks I hope you get plenty of practice. The animals, the wildlife, strange from many respects. There has been over-exploitation in the 1800s and 1900s, but now nothing is man-shy, vastly different from wildlife around much of the rest of the world. The geology, no vegetation covering things. It's the ice and the rocks, back to the straight geology from that point of view. The weather, you've already heard a few comments. Polar weather, Antarctic weather, there's a hell of a lot of it. And then, what happened? Who went where, when, and of course why? The exploration and the development of the knowledge of this remote continent is another fascinating study. Thank you.
Where's your teleprompter, Bob? Did we record that? We are recording this. Good. Wonderful, wonderful. So you've spoken about the wildlife, but what is the most amazing thing you personally have seen in your years of expedition and adventure to Antarctica? You know, just some quick stories, and sometimes we don't, those are not guarantees at all for this year, this season, but let's just reminisce on some of the most exciting things you've come across.
Amazing thing over many decades, that's not an easy question. Sometimes the ice can be impressive. Something crashing off, a great glacier calving, or a large berg overturning. The amount of energy as that's all moving. The ice returning to a situation of water, only look at it as liquids and solids and change. That's basically geological and glaciological merging. That can be quite amazing. But it's also a place where you never know quite where to look, what will happen, expecting the unexpected from a biological, geological, or any other aspect. Well, I could go on and on, but we do have time limits. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I don't know if this really counts, but I met my husband in Antarctica, so pretty cool. We were both working on one of the small ships, doing like penguin police, standing around and just...
Say what? Penguin police?
Penguin.
Did you just hear that? Hey, book 'em, Dan. Drive DUI. What is?
I wish I hadn't started this now. It's one of them when you say something and you think, why did I say that? Just making sure people don't get too close to penguins.
Oh, I love that.
That kind of thing. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Wildlife, a blue whale. So I think I spent, ever since I was very, very young, wanting to see a blue whale and finding out that there were so few of them that they couldn't even meet each other. You know, that they were really seriously endangered. And then it must have been 2019, we were down on the Princess ship just before COVID, and looked out and there was a blue whale just there, just next to the ship, really, you know, just incredible. And there was nobody around me, and I was like, it's there. And it just lay, just still, kind of resting on the surface, doing nothing. So in a way, it was kind of a big anticlimax, but for me, that was pretty exciting. And I've done work on whale populations, historical whale populations, the whaling industry, and seeing the whales coming back. We're seeing up in Alaska as well, we're seeing the humpback whales. We've had whales in England along the coast of Sussex, humpbacks, Suffolk. So over my time down here, so over like 25 years nearly, seeing the whale populations increasing, I find that quite exciting. I find that pretty amazing. And if we could just treat the world a little bit better than we've done in the past and try and look after these creatures, it's something that when you're here, it kind of makes you think about that kind of thing. So yeah, probably the whales I find pretty exciting.
And I heard the largest population of orcas is in this region, yeah?
We often see orcas along the Gerlache Strait. So if we're lucky, we don't always, but there will be orcas that come in the summer season. And if you see the wildlife documentaries of them trying to knock the seals off the icebergs, so a lot of that is filmed exactly where we're going. So if we're lucky, fingers crossed, yeah.
We will experience a live documentary happening in front of us. Very good. All right, anybody else any highlights of your expeditions, adventures to Antarctica?
Yeah, can we agree that anything Bob says sounds good?
I'm fact checking you.
Can you say welcome to Jurassic Park?
We're not in the right place to say that. We will, however, find some interesting fossils of tree ferns and things of this nature, but we won't go close enough to get a good look at them. But I can tell you about them anyway.
I'm gonna record you, and you'll be my alarm clock. Okay.
I use cicadas.
So yeah, cool things that I've seen. I'm gonna choose 3. One of them is seeing orcas chasing penguins. Yeah, that was cool. Not for him, but for me. Having tons of whales around the ship. I mean, I'm talking about 50, 60 whales, and seeing the spouts and just, like all over the place. That was incredible. And probably the most amazing one was one time where a whale breached very close to the ship. I mean, so close. And I remember, as if it was today, I remember how it went up as if it was in slow motion, and just seeing the eye, one of the eyes of the whale, and it seemed like the eye was as big as my head, and just the body was just like the head must have been my whole body, and just seeing it go up kind of in slow motion, and then when it splashed down, the noise and the amount of water that it displaced, and like I said, it was so close to the ship that I was just amazed that happened in front of my eyes. So that was probably one of the fondest memories of Antarctica.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, similarly to Gary, I've been lucky enough to see orca chase down penguin. It's not always a gruesome end, but it was in the one I was watching. It wasn't as good. And also, when I was a 10-year-old boy, one of the family aunties purchased me one of these very old-fashioned bird book of the world, about this big, huge thing. And one of those aunties that wasn't a real auntie, but a friend of the family that you had to call auntie in the UK anyway. And she bought me this book, and it was great, and turned the pages over very slowly. And I came to this huge picture of an albatross species called a light-mantled sooty albatross. And for me as a 10-year-old boy, that was one of the most stunning birds in the world. And as I say, the first time I came to Antarctica about 18 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, I actually was very, very lucky, and I got to see a pair of them. So that was a very, very nice experience for me. Hopefully it will be for you too. And lastly, was anybody on deck yesterday? Did anyone see that pigeon that was flying around? Yeah? You saw that dove? That was an eared dove. Now that might seem fairly insignificant to see a pigeon flying around out here, but it just shows the delicate balance of life and death on migration. There is a presentation, Magic Migration, later on in the cruise, but if that boat, this Princess Sapphire, wasn't here for that pigeon to land on somewhere, very, very sadly, that was probably the end of that pigeon's life. So it just shows how delicate things are out here. perhaps not exciting, but more so amazing in terms of ecology and wildlife. Thank you.
I'll be honest, I ate the pigeon for dinner last night. Sorry, folks.
No,
there was a documentary being filmed. For me, honestly, I put my back to the railing and I watch you folks. I love seeing Antarctica through your eyes. Some of you it's the first time. For some of you it's many times over again. It is something that when you see it, it completely, I don't mean this hyperbolically, it ruins Alaska, it ruins Iceland, it ruins Greenland. It is the best. It really is. So the more you're able to lean into it and experience it and tell me what you're seeing and what you're excited about, the more I enjoy it.
Great. Absolutely. Let's do a 15-second recap of all of your kind of topics, talks in general, as an umbrella, not necessarily the title of each of your talk, but just down the line, remind them what you're going to be talking about to Antarctica, and then we're going to move into the bridge narrations that are going to be happening, and what is that like, where to be, what you're going to hear, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
I'm talking about glaciers, I'm talking about geology, I'm talking about ecology. Read the Princess Patter, it's in there. It's in there. You'll see it every day.
Yes, and the Princess app has the detailed descriptions of those talks, so use the app, it's free to use.
Yeah, similarly, there's a slight overlap, but they're all very different. I'm very bird-based, also touch on cetaceans, dolphins, orcas, and general biology and ecology.
I'll be doing talks on what to see and do in each port of call.
Wonderful. And we're not getting off in Antarctica, right?
We are not.
Yeah, my background's in ice, so I'm going to be talking about the ice. Also, we'll be going in around the peninsula, whales and dolphins, and a little bit about the Falkland Islands as well. I lived down here for a few years, so I was going to talk about some of the wildlife of that area as well.
Cool.
Well, my colleagues and I will be giving you quite a bit of the history and geography, the idea of ancient and modern, what there was, what was found, what was originally seen, compared to what there is now. I like that contrast and comparison. In the theatre you have the theory, outside you have the practice. Here you'll hear the what was, and we'll see what is. Thank you.
Great transition into what is. We can't predict what we'll see, but Bob, you have eyes, and you will be telling us exactly what's around us-ish. So from the Horizon Court, where the nicest warm hot chocolate's being served, and the bone broth or whatever they're serving, bouillon, to keep you guys warm out there while you're enjoying, what sort of temperature, what sort of experience are we going to be, on deck 7, deck 14, 15, 16, 18 aft, sports court, the back, the front, the board,
Well, it depends very much what you're interested in and how hardy you are. Those most interested in the biology will be on the promenade deck, deck 7, where you're closer to many of them. If you want the distance, the skies, the views, the mountains, then you'll be on deck 15 or up. And if there's not much wind, you'll be reasonably well. I remember once when we come out of near Port Lockroy, we were in an area with a katabatic wind coming down, probably of the order of 20 knots and probably about minus 10 degrees. There was nobody on deck then.
Wow.
I say again, in the polar regions, the weather, there's a hell of a lot of it.
Very nice. And your announcements, your narrations, they're going to go through which parts of the ship?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been invited on the bridge to describe, using the maps, the history and background, what you can see port and starboard. We try to get a bit of a variety, but sometimes one side dominates the other. But I'll give you a bit of what we are, the features to look at, what there was. I might occasionally predict the future, and a bit of the background. Anything from discovery to volcanic eruptions to, of course, the announcements for any wildlife. Whales on the port or starboard.
Very good. Now, what is port and starboard? Is everybody aware? We're good what that means? Port is the left side when you're facing the front of the ship. Starboard side is the right side. Okay, when you're always facing the front of the ships over here. Starboard, make sure you turn forward. Means when the water's going behind you, and then go to your right or left, depending on port or starboard, okay? Caroline, let's move into a little bit of behavior, ethics, how to behave out there in the decks. If you see other people, you're now all penguin police, but not of the actual penguins, of basically the wildlife and each other, all the other guests. If you see guests Dropping napkins, pick it up. If you see guests with paper plates, cups, let them know. Police better come back inside, they can blow into the water. So there's an organization, the International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators, that likes to say stop trips to Antarctica, or at least manage them a little bit better. They're an organization, as you saw in the video, that that wants to preserve this area. And as Rob told our crew here on Sapphire Princess, this area doesn't belong to anybody, and I'm sure you've heard it before. So remind us a little bit about how to behave out there in the open decks and how we can all become penguin police, basically, or IATO ambassadors.
Okay, so as we said, IATO, we've seen a lot of advertising boards all around the ship, so you've probably seen something about IATO. So Antarctica is governed by the Antarctic Treaty, so that's agreements for all the signatory nations who govern Antarctica. IATO is the tour operator, so all the cruise ships, all the tourist companies, and they kind of self-regulate. So to allow us to go down to Antarctica, they've made an agreement that we will treat the continent with respect. We're going to try as much as we can to keep any plastics out of Antarctica, so we don't have anything that we can, that may end up in Antarctica that is plastic. So that's one big thing at the moment, because there are microplastics down there, but if we can try and keep plastics from getting down there. If there's anything like a scarf or anything that's loose, don't take that on deck. So make sure that everything is secure, and so no waving anything around out in Antarctica, because if it blows away, it will be there forever. Nothing ever kind of rots down. So while we're there, we don't have ping pong. There's no table tennis in Antarctica. It's always a big rule, just because of the table tennis balls. No deck games. So just keep an eye out. There's the advertising boards with IATO all around the ship, and that will list some of the guidelines that we are happy to stick to, because if we can all do this, then we're all playing our part in looking after the continent that we're going to visit, and we can all keep going down there. So, yep, that's pretty much it, and we can all be penguin police, which is great.
Very cool, very cool. Would you help us
Yeah.
keep the decks nice and clean? Down any birds you see, don't cook them like Rob did. Don't take them down to deck 5 galley and say, "This is my dinner." All right, very good. Well, we're running out of time here, just a short little quick talk about it, but is there anything in closing, anything that you think these guests will be amazed at? What's your, I know Rob was talking in his presentation about these cathedral icebergs, and I thought that was very interesting, but...
One thing I'll mention, and this is a special activity that I do when we hit first sight of Antarctica. I do a special walk to encourage people to go inside. I informally call it the Shackleton Shuffle. Some of you have seen this on Facebook and YouTube. You wear the brightest shirt you have. I wear my University of Alberta alumni basketball shorts, and I go barefoot on deck 7 outside in the Antarctic wind. And I do complete laps. We have flags we carry. It's kind of a fun thing. It's at the first sighting of Antarctic land. I will be making an announcement over the intercom. When we leave Antarctica, on this path, we're going to be leaving from Elephant Island. It's called Scott Stroll, and I talk about same kind of activity again. I talk about all of the scientists and the researchers that have lost their lives in the pursuit of knowledge down there. So more details on that later, but there are special one-time only in Antarctica events that are happening. Check your Princess Patter, come and ask any of us, or listen for the intercom announcements.
Very good, excellent. Any last bits? Tidbits?
It's really cool down there.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I loved the fact when Rob did his whole talk, a 45-minute talk about Antarctica, he said, light basically